Hello, this is Dylan Miller on Daily Dose of Dylan, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Spotify, even if you're on Spreaker. Hello to you. Yesterday's podcast was a little short, but I'm going to definitely have a much longer podcast today. Alright. So, the Seahawks, back to the Russell Wilson thing. I feel like, I'm sorry if these topics were a little repetitive this week. Like I said, I'm getting used to just going from the whole, football, predominantly like 80% football, 20% basketball, to now basically 10% football, 70% basketball, 20% baseball, It's a tough, switch up. So, alright, so back to the Wilson. Now, I think this is a bit of an overreaction. I think he was just, he'll wind up back in Seattle, I'm pretty sure. But I've heard they're getting calls about him. They have to fully appreciate this guy. I think he's the reason. Obviously their defense was incredible. I'm not denying that in any sense of the matter. Their defense was awesome. But Wilson, he's been it the last couple of years. He's been the reason the Seahawks have been relevant in any sense of the matter. I think the two places where I don't know if he wants to go here, but the two places he would do the best, the Jets and Colts. And I'll explain that. So, the Jets have Mekhi Becton. Wilson doesn't like getting hit. They have a very uber-talented O-lineman right there. They got a ton of cap space. Crowder and Rashad Perryman are pretty good receivers. I think they're pretty underrated. But, Wilson can make them very good. We've seen what he's done with other receivers in the past. And like I said, they have a lot of cap space. The Colts, top 3 O-line, top 3, top 5 O-line. They have Jonathan Taylor, who's the real deal. And Frank Reich is a good coach, and they have a great defense. And like I said, Wilson can make their receivers work. The problem here is getting equal value for Wilson, which is probably one of the toughest things you can ever do in this league. It's like getting equal value for Rodgers or Mahomes. It's like it can't be done almost. For the Jets, the only way you get equal value for Wilson, your 2 first-round picks this year. You're not going to give up all your first-round picks, but give up your 2 first-round picks this year, and Sam Darnold. I think, I don't know I'm not saying the Seahawks are going to accept this, but I think that's the best proposal the Jets can make. You just got to do all you can to get Wilson here. I don't think, like I said, I don't think he's going to get, I don't even think this whole speculation about Wilson is even going to be true. I think he's just going to, well, no, I know it's true, but I think he's just going to wind up in Seattle. I think it's just not going to be that big of a deal. But, weird things have happened, so I gotta talk about this. Now, I think the Colts can offer, I actually think the Colts have less to offer than the Jets, shockingly. They currently don't have a quarterback to give back to the Seahawks. And the Seahawks, if they trade Wilson, they have to, they're going to want to, well, they don't, they're going to want a quarterback back. I think Darnold, that's why I threw him in there, The Colts are without a quarterback, and they don't have the picks either, so I'm not really sure how they can make that trade work. But if the Colts find a way to clear the cap space and everything, I think this position is Wentz or Wilson's if they want it. Because like I said about Wentz, Frank Reich was the offensive coordinator when the Eagles flourished in the 2018 season. Wentz was an MVP candidate, and they won with Nick Foles. So, J.J. Watt and the Texans, this is probably the biggest news of the day. J.J. Watt and the Texans are parting ways officially. It was a release. He did put out a nice video. He's had a first ballot Hall of Fame career easily. It's very... This is kind of like the Matthew Stafford situation, except Houston has had some good seasons. They've made the playoffs. Their problem has always been not having the right quarterback. They had T.J. Yates, Tom Savage, Matt Schnua was okay. And then when they finally got the right quarterback in Deshaun Watson, they ran him out of town. He's had an amazing run, though, particularly the 2012 to 2015 run. That 4-year run was amazing. I don't know if anything compares to that. 69 sacks, 190 QB hits, 119 tackles for loss, 41 pass deflections. That is almost all time among defensive ends. That's a Hall of Fame career itself. What people don't understand is, well, honestly, people like me are not understanding. People around my age are not understanding. Is J.J. Watt was what Aaron Donald is now. He's a top 5 defensive end ever, in my opinion. When you look at those stats right there, 69 sacks, 190 QB hits, 119 tackles for loss. I think here's the 4 best defensive ends ever, in no order. Reggie White, Deacon Jones, Bruce Smith, and J.J. Watt. And he's also been very good the last couple years. He's had 2 off years, and 1 he was injured. Now his problem, and he's been injured, he's had some sort of injury 3 of the last 5 years. But his last 16-game season, which was only 2 years ago, 16 sacks, 7 forced fumbles. He's still very much good. He still has some left in him, And I think the two most likely landing spots are the Packers and Steelers. I mentioned that he went to Wisconsin. He grew up there. He's a Wisconsin kid. They need an edge rusher. Imagine a line of Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, Zadarius Smith, and J.J. Watt. I mean, I think even J.J. Watt would be elevated by the other Packers players there. The Packers' defense is not that far away from being very good. Their problem was Mike Pettine. I like the Joe Barry hire. The problem is we don't know what he's going to do, what he wants to run down there. But I think he'd do well with J.J. Watt in the rotation. And I'd say the next likely spot is the Steelers. They got his brother, TJ. That would make their defense, and their defense is already very good. I would make that even better. They just so happen, like I said, to have their brother. And another destination, I don't think he's going to go there, but I could see him going to the Bucs. They're a dominant defense, and he mentioned that he clearly wants to be on a contender right now. And Steelers, Packers, and Bucs are the definition of contenders. I mean, the Packers and Bucs literally just face each other in the NFC Championship. So, if that doesn't scream contender, I don't know what does. So, Alright, I should probably get music going here. Here we go. Alright, here comes the music. There we go. So Brady is going to have minor knee surgery. Obviously, the season just ended. We're not going to have another season until September, so, we shouldn't overreact to this. This is a little concerning. I don't think it's going to matter, like I said at the beginning of the season. But it's a little surprising. Other than a 2008 season, he's never been banged up. So, and honestly, this is not even a major injury. I don't even know why I put this there, but, it's news across the league. I gotta talk about it. But here's a bigger topic. The Browns could make Baker Mayfield one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league next year by extending him. I like this. I wouldn't pay him faster than Allen, because I think Allen is better. I think is he younger than Mayfield? I don't know. Doesn't really matter. But I like that Mayfield has played with a chip on his shoulder all season, and the best part is he proved them wrong. And now last year when he had a very poor season last year, it wasn't his talent. It was his maturity. Like I mentioned that in my first episode about Haskins. It was his maturity that was the problem, not his play. Well, his play wasn't very good either, but it was his maturity that really ran him out of town. But he obviously had talent. You saw it. It's great to see his development, though. So I like Mayfield. I wouldn't extend him just yet. I'll explain that later. Now, I wouldn't even extend Allen yet this year, and I'll explain that later. But back to the NBA, AD believes LeBron should win MVP, and I agree. It's very debatable. The MVP race is really heating up. So here's my top 5. I put it together. Number 5 is Kevin Durant. The great thing about this is you can argue all these guys have done a better job than LeBron. And the problem isn't their play. It's not their play at all. So here's KD's problem. As great as he's been. As great as he's been, KD 29.5 points. 7 boards, 5 assists, 45% from 3. And he's averaging 1.5 blocks a game. Playing very well. Problem is, the Nets are unfortunately 15-12. And you didn't give it to LeBron in 2018 when he had Harden beat in a lot of statistical categories, except for points. But Harden had 65 wins, so that's why you gave it to him. That's KD's problem. KD is phenomenal. I'm not denying. He's the second best player in the world. Number 4 is Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic is phenomenal. He's averaging the most points he's ever averaged in his career, 27. He's shooting 40% from 3. He averages a double-double, 11 boards. Problem here, the Nuggets happen to be 13-11. Number 3 is Steph Curry. Now, here's the thing. I don't think the win should matter in the MVP race. I said it about Rodgers. It's the most valuable player. So I don't think wins should matter, but they do. So it would be contradictory to, give it to Curry, Jokic, or KD over LeBron or Embiid, because LeBron and Embiid are winning games and playing well at the same time. So number 2 is Embiid, and number 1 is LeBron. The